So what's going on in the world today, right? What's going on in society? As the stock market's at all-time highs and the Republican Party's in great shape, the wars are going excellent. How are we doing? How are the actual people doing in this AI tech slop bubble?
Conspiracy theories are entering a dangerous...
Information is the oxygen of the democracy.
There's so much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true, that would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.
We are going to talk about the problem a fair bit more, but there are solutions, and there are lots of ways for you to protect yourself against this and make your life better and your family's life better. And the most important thing is understanding the nature of the problem, right? You're not going to be doing great in this economy if you don't understand the economy. You're not going to be doing great in a collapse if you don't know what's going on. Let's hand it over to the BBC and talk about the partying epidemic.
Over the last 20 years, there's been a huge drop in the number of parties that people are going to. In 2003, the average American spent 3 hours a month partying. Today, that number is just 90 minutes a month. In just 2 decades, we shrank our social lives down to just half of what they used to be.
It's about as dramatic as any statistic that I have seen in...
Look at this party animal, dog. Look at this party animal reporting on the real problems here. And I'm not joking about the problem. This is actually the problem. It's one of the problems. It's a part of it. It's a symptom. No one's partying anymore. Where are all the parties at? Serious question. I mean, to be honest, I got invited to one last night and I didn't go, but that's different. I had shit to do. I had an amazing dinner. Wonderful. I had a party all on my own. Well, not. I had a party with, just didn't go to that party. But they were homies. Shout out to those homies if they're watching. But no one's partying, right? And by party, what I mean is like gathering, social gatherings. And I think we all know what kind of put the nail in the coffin of social gatherings, but no one is partying. And we don't think nearly often enough about what that is a symptom of and what that does to us as people, as a culture, as social beings.
In the last few years, the death of partying has been absolutely tremendous.
But the drop-off isn't equal for all age groups, and that's what's really concerning. The drops among young people are staggering. Their decline in partying isn't 50%, it's nearly 70%.
Nice. Nice. Maybe Gen Z gets it all along. 69% drop in partying? I mean, come on. Come on, guys. Psh. It's almost like that's that's a pretty convenient drop in partying, guys. Are y'all trolling us, Gen Z? Is this the most epic level troll that I've ever seen in my life?
And what happens to a generation of kids, these young people who are just starting to learn how to socialize, how to talk to people, how to date? What happens to these kids when they stop having a social life of their own?
Right. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Whatever happened to parties? Where the party at, bro? We're trying to party like it's 1999 in this bitch, dude. And there ain't no parties to go to. What's up with that? Exactly. Of course, COVID happened, right? COVID happened. But a lot more than just COVID happened. A lot more than just COVID happened. Too much credit card debt, bro. You're dang straight. I'm sober now. Shout out to all the sober homies. You're killing it. You're already on the solutions train, homie. Bonfires. Yeah, have some more bonfires. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Yeah, Diddy in the chat. Shout out to Diddy in the chat. There ain't no party like a Diddy party.
In the year 2000, Harvard...
They literally arrested the dude throwing all the parties. I mean, like, is it time to free Diddy? Is that where we're at? Is freeing Diddy the solution to all of our financial problems? Damn, dog.
Harvard's Robert Putnam published a very famous book called Bowling Alone, where he said Americans seem to be retreating and socializing less and working on their social capital less and creating groups less. And he had all of this data suggesting that Americans were beginning to retreat between the 1970s and the early 2000s from the physical world. Some people at the time said that Robert Putnam was full of it. They said, you're totally crazy. You're forgetting the fact that the internet's going to come along and it's going to bring us all together. I'm talking about a social phenomenon that's happened entirely since the publication of Bowling Alone. So Robert Putnam rang the bell of declining American socialization. Then some people said he might be wrong. And then partying among 15 to 24-year-olds declined by 70%. So it's almost like the best way to frame this is not as one phenomenon, but like a recession on top of a recession. We were already seeing a retreat from the physical world, a retreat from social capital and socializing in the second half of the 20th century. And now that retreat has just accelerated in the last 20 years.
So you know what happened after and beyond and during COVID? Beyond just COVID. No, I didn't already talk about what we should do. We're going to get to that. But first, we need to understand the problem and what's happening to everybody, because it's only in understanding the shape of a problem and really like coming to grips with what's wrong, whether it's a personal problem or a cultural, social, family problem, a national problem, a global problem. It all comes back to self-responsibility and analyzing what's really wrong with us. What's going wrong? And what is my contribution to that? And what can I do about it in my world for myself and my family and my friends, right? You know what happened other than just COVID? This. Twitch. This whole phenomenon, this thing that we're doing right now, yes, it connects us across borders. Yes, we learn. Yes, we share. We have community. But our community is all over the world now. Now our best friends are across the globe. And obviously, COVID contributed to this. But it's way bigger than that, right? Because think of America. America used to be a nation of small local communities that were very homogenous and similar. And everyone around you were your friends and your community, and you went to church with them, and you went to school with them, and you went to work with them, and you went to parties with them, and you knew each other, and you were similar, and you got along. That was your people. Now, we live in this multicultural world, which is like, I'm not like some far righter that's like all immigrants are bad. I don't fall with that necessarily, and it's okay if you do. I don't judge you. But you got to admit, even if you're like pretty leftist, you got to admit that now you live around a whole bunch of people that aren't like you. And we've been told our entire lives that that's a good thing. But now it's just a soup. And so your neighbor's not like you. They don't know what your life is. They're not from the same place as you. They don't share your culture. The people that are like you are way over in Arkansas. And one of them is in New Jersey. And one of them is over in Italy, dropping down into the chat. Right? This multiculturalism, this mass immigration mixing melting pot all over the world has destroyed our local communities and national identities and cultural identities. They've made everything into a homogenous soup. So now when you travel there and there, it's still all the same soup. There's no more Spanish culture and Italian culture and Kentucky culture and Washington culture, so to speak. Now it's just globalist culture. Now it's just internet culture, right? And everywhere you go, it's the same internet culture. Every 12-year-old all around the world, at least in the English-speaking world, they all live in the exact same town. And the town is called the internet. For a lot of them, it's called Twitch. Right? Right? That is the outcome of this diversity, this multiculturalism. You know, the little diversity stickers on the Subarus driving all around my hometown that I used to think was like, oh, that's a great thing. It's like, yes, at the base level, it's a good thing to be nice to people that are different than you and to embrace their culture. But when you mix all the cultures together, there's no more different cultures. It's all just one soup. Right? And so now people look for their communities online because your neighbors aren't like you, for better or for worse. Right? Chat, am I wrong? Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. right? 6-7, right there in the chat. I'd bet that every single person in the chat that has a child between the ages of 8 and 16, no matter where you live in the United States, I'd bet that every single one of your kids has said 6-7. Even if they're based and they're not with it, all of them say 6-7 in every community across America. Because you don't live in your community. You live in the globalized community of the internet, for better and for worse. And so what that means is that your children aren't growing up in your community. They're not growing up in your town. They're growing up in Twitch town, in streaming town, in video game town, in Discord town, right? It's all the way over in Finland, right there in the chat. You see it? Right? You see what I'm saying? Sigma Skibbity Riz, right? They all say the same things because kids are so impressionable. Kids are looking for someone to look up to. How you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to be. And the world used to work in a way where, sure, there were celebrities, but most of the influence on our children was coming from local people, coming from their pastor, from their teachers, from the older kids at school, from whoever it is, right? Their own town, their own family, their own communities. And when you drove 5 hours to a different state, it was all different. And the people were different. And the jokes were different, right? And so globalizing everything, internetifying everything, has done some awesome things. It has allowed a lot of great things. It has freed up information, but it has also destroyed the very diversity that the globalized left concept claims to champion. And we're all jumping down this cliff together. We're way past the point of no return on that. And the AI bubble that we just talked about is only accelerating it. Right? That is the nature of so many of the problems in our world today, the way that I see it anyways. And that's the nature of this loneliness epidemic, of this disconnection that so many people are feeling. And before we get too far into it, before we get too far into the personal, it's important to remind ourselves that it's not entirely our fault. Like, in this economy, how are you going to go party? No one can afford to fucking party in this economy. People are trying to just pay rent and eat food. And a lot of people can't afford that either because the Federal Reserve and the bankers that run the world have sucked the dollar dry. Right? The wealth gap is completely out of control. Let me line this up. The blue section is the top 1%. And at the top of the blue section here, the top 0.01%. The yellow section is the top 10%, plus 1%. The orange section is the top 50%. And way down here is everyone else. And we all know this. You don't need a chart to show you because you're way down here getting crushed by the system. And to be clear, the wealth gap is not new. It's just multiplying tremendously. And that's a feature of the collapse of an empire. That's a feature of the debasement of currency. That's a feature of money printing. That is a feature of fiat money. And what we were saying earlier about you should learn about the basics of money and how money works, this is wise because you start to understand the actual mechanics that make this inevitable in this kind of a system. And so the solutions that we're going to talk about are not all about money. Most of it is, I think, personal, in my opinion. I'll be curious to hear your opinions. But the solution does partly involve money. If you want to secure a good life for you and your family moving forwards, you need to understand this, and you need to figure out how to take your life out of that red sliver in the bottom 50%, and whatever way is going to work for you, you need to figure out how to at least move into the orange 50 to 90%. You probably don't want to have anything to fucking do with the rest of these guys because they are evil motherfuckers for the most part. But you at least want to move out of that bottom 50% because you're going to get crushed regardless. And it's obviously not as easy as saying that. Am I in the orange? I am now going, I'm not right now. No, I'm still in the red, but I am inevitably going to move into that orange section right there, the 50 to 90%. That is what this job will allow me to do. I'm doing an awful good job of like sharing my money around and not like hoarding it yet. I'm trying to build like giving into the concept right from the start, but I inevitably will make plenty of money from this career. And that was the point, because I learned about this stuff and I learned what was going on. And I realized that if I wanted to have a family and raise children in this world, as this whole thing collapses all around us, I realized that I wanted to be the man that could provide for my family and provide for my wife and provide for my children. And that is money. And that's just what it is. That's the truth. And yes, money is like the root of all evil, but it's not really. Evil people with money certainly is the root of a lot of the evil. But there's nothing wrong with trying to get more money for yourself and your family. And in this economy, with the AI bubble looming, with jobs being cut, with everything going to shit, damn good time for you to start thinking about what can I do? What side hustles, what skills can I practice? What things can I do that will be valuable, that are valuable, that I can practice on the side or build in my free time or whatever it is to try to add more value to your life so that you wind up somewhere in this orange space instead of down here at the bottom. And obviously that won't be possible for 50% of Americans because inevitably the bottom 50% is 50% of us. And I hate to say it, but your job is just to take care of you and your family. And then if you do really good, if you get into this 50 to 90%, remember to be a good person and help people out and share and be kind and maintain the values that you learned down there at the bottom. And hopefully transform this shit a little bit. But ultimately, we're all getting crushed by these assholes that are throwing conferences about a foreign nation with people like Floyd Money Mayweather that took the thing out of their throat for long enough to tell you that you filthy peasants should support it too. Okay? These are the numbers behind those stats in 2023. So the bottom 50% are holding on to just 3% of the wealth. The top 0.1% are holding on to more than 4 times as much as all bottom 50% of you guys. Yeah, America first. MAGA can kick rocks. Yeah, I am just a lonely peasant. Most of us are, bro. I think most of us in chat are peasants. Hey, shout out to someone throwing a first-time Twitch chat. Welcome to the party. Pigeons played the memory. Pigeons playing democracy. Good name. Yeah, peasants checking in. Nothing wrong with being a peasant. But I would encourage you to aspire to not be a peasant because that is how you're going to protect and provide for your family. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the world, right? I don't write the rules. I just work here. And it ain't great, but it is what it is. I think we're going to watch this guy's video. It's a little left field and it's a little like heady, but it's kind of neat. It's another one that's like you don't really think about.
People in their homes.
Let me just pull this bro up. I noticed this video because it had 1 million views from a pretty small channel. And then I watched it and was like, huh, that's an interesting way to put it.
People have changed. I don't know any other way to put it except for people have changed. I've seen it. I know you've seen it. Let me know down in the comments below if you've just seen a shift in the way people are in general, the way society is in general. I'm really starting to believe that this timeline that we're on, there's something wrong with it. I mean, I've gotten to where I don't believe anything because everything is so screwed up. Everything is so up in the air and everything is always changing. But over the last 5 years specifically, we have seen changes in society, in the world, that are unprecedented, unlike anything we've ever seen in such short periods of time too. That's the other thing. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in an alternate reality. I don't know what happened to the reality we used to live in, but it is not here anymore. And there's a few things that have...
It is not here anymore. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the Kentucky Derby, of all things.
There were people drinking, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a massive party. People were in suits and ties. I mean, they're thinking that...
So he's talking about going to the Kentucky Derby. He's from Kentucky, and the Kentucky Derby's like their thing. It's like their Mardi Gras, right?
That's exactly what I was going to see, only to be extremely let down. And to say things had changed would be a massive understatement. I walked in there and there was nobody getting drunk. I mean, there were people drinking, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a massive party. People were in suits and ties. Women were in derby dresses. Everybody was just kind of standing around, somewhat socializing, somewhat just kind of sitting around, scrolling their phones, not really interacting in the way that you would think people would interact, especially for the Derby infield. And do me a favor, if you don't believe me on this, if you think, okay, well, you just never been there, maybe you didn't know what to expect, Google, right now, Google Kentucky Derby infield party photos. Just Google those terms, and you're going to see the craziness that I'm talking about. And that was...
I haven't looked this up, but let's do it. Kentucky Derby infield party. Are we getting ourselves in trouble here? Are we about to get ourselves in trouble? Chat, do we know what we're talking about here? Is this going to be super unhinged? Yeah, that is a party. Correct. That is a party. This is what he's talking about. All of these photos look like they were taken in the 2000s. Back in the good old days. Getting it. Getting down. Getting down. Upside down getting down, bro. That's the Kentucky Derby we're talking about. But it ain't like that no more. No one's partying.
Back all the way up until about 2020. And we're going to get to that in a second because there's a few reasons why I think this is happening. But all the way up until about 2020, that's the scene that you would see there. But what I experienced was something completely different. It was like I had been pulled from that reality, from that timeline, and placed in a timeline that was completely unrecognizable. And the whole scene, the whole environment, the...
Right? Purple Pineberry, go to any concert, same shit. Go to festivals, it's kind of the same there too. Raves do still happen, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And part of this is the wealth gap, right? The rich can still afford to party, but all the poors, sorry guys. Y'all can kick rocks. Go back to work. You got work in the morning, don't you? I mean, who can afford concerts these days, right? Certainly can't afford no $25 drinks. Vegas is empty. Vegas is facing a crisis because Vegas is built on all this debt and leverage and investments, and all those hotels are just sitting empty. It's wild, dude. You're right. All the music does suck anyway because it's all produced by P. Diddy. Right? This guy, he's I don't know, he's just kind of a nobody. He's Jacob Whalen. He has 80,000 subscribers. I've never seen him before. He just popped up in this investigation I was doing into this epidemic. And I was like, that's a good point, bro. Yeah, it's like even these wealthy parties, these parties that are supposed to be like the Mardi Gras of their locations.
My surroundings, just the way people were,
Yeah,
the
where
way
are we
people were
going?
interacting, and everything about it felt very robotic. It did not feel natural. There's something that was just very off-putting about it. I don't really know how to describe it. That's why I'm kind of struggling with this, but something has changed. That's what I'm getting at here. And again, if you think that maybe it's just because I had never experienced it before, I'll give you another example. And this is another big one that tipped me off to the fact that this.
What do you think has changed? Is it just the money? Is it just COVID? Or is part of it all the division too? Is part of it all the phones, the NPCs, right? And all the eggshells that everyone's walking on, right? All the self-censoring that people are doing because they don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to get kicked out of the group. There's all these elements in society that are all converging on people being more and more isolated, more and more alone, more and more trapped, going to work, coming home from work, going to work, coming home from work. This website is wild. This is an interactive website that we scroll. So let's take a second to really empathize with this loneliness epidemic that a lot of us are feeling, right? A lot of us are feeling. Loneliness is at all-time highs amongst men and women. Depression is at all-time highs. So let's meet Alvin Chang. 24 hours in an invisible epidemic. And just peep this out from The Pudding, apparently. This is a 62-year-old Hispanic male. Let's call him Martin. Martin's trying to sleep, but he's rolling around in bed, sleepless. There's a timeline here. It's early morning. Martin's sleeping. But he couldn't sleep, so he got out of bed and watched TV. This is just like a regular guy, right? We're just getting an image of just one guy out there in the world somewhere living his life, right? Just watching TV first thing in the morning because he can't sleep, right? And we're going to scroll through 24 hours in the lives of just a bunch of people, random people, right? And some people are waking up. Some people are getting their kids out of bed. Some people are sleeping in. Some people are smoking weed. Some people are having showers. Some people are making love. It's a huge world. And we have all these relationships with all these people in our world, right? And some people are filling up their social batteries. Some people are interacting with people, and they represent that with yellow bars going up. Cumulative hours of social interaction, right? And so throughout your day, you get social interaction, which you need. But Martin, it's midday, and he hasn't seen anyone, right? After lunch, he just watches TV again, right? It's later in the day, it's the afternoon, and some people are doing okay. Some people are hanging out with their families, but Martin is just all alone, and no one even realizes it. He's just there, right? Time spent alone since 2003, 65-year-olds and up are silently just wasting away, all on their own. Young people have also gone way up in their alone time and their lack of socializing, right? A lot of people will spend the whole day with no social interaction whatsoever. And this social ladder, this ladder of potential, they use it for one thing, but we're going to kind of use it for our own purposes. Think about a spectrum from your best possible life, your personal best possible life, down to your worst possible life. The emotions that go with your best life and your worst life, the money that goes with your best life or your worst life, the relationships, the job, the time spent, whatever it is, right? Where are you on your own spectrum? Where are you right now? Do a little audit. I recently did this audit on myself, and in some ways, my life is awesome. Some ways, my life is a total dream. But in some ways, I'm way down at the bottom. I don't socialize enough. I need to do more of that. And I've been actively working on building that into my life more. That's why I moved back to Austin, so I could be around my friends. Because I work alone. I live alone. I drive around the country alone. I got Gigi, but Gigi doesn't speak English, right? I work on the internet. I hang out with you homies, but that's not good enough. You need real people, eh, Gigi? Yeah, we need real dogs around, homie, right? And our world is just full of people living their lives, and the people that are alone, no one ever sees them. no one ever even notices that they're alone. Right? And so the people suffering the most from this loneliness epidemic are the ones that we have the least visibility on. They're the ones that no one even realizes are there and suffering. And often, being alone and lonely leads you to feeling depressed. And then being depressed leads you to spending more time alone and being more lonely. And this is closely tied in to the epidemic of internet kids that then get into some pretty weird shit on the internet. And we've all seen where that can lead lately, right? Time spent with other people on weekends. What did you do this weekend? Did you hang out with someone that you love? Did you go to a party? Did you go to church? Or the beach? Or the skate park? Did you go outside? How are you doing, guys? Are you doing okay? Seriously. Are you doing okay? Because a lot of people aren't. And I feel you, dude. I feel you. If you're not doing okay, I got you. We are at least hanging out here together, right? And it's this sort of thing where, like, on the one hand, the internet is the fucking problem here because we're all hanging out here instead of in person. But when the alternative is not hanging out with anyone, what's the solution? We all come here to hang out on the internet. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's better than nothing, but it's not the same. And if you're fucking lonely out there, if your life feels shitty, I feel you. I have been there. We've all been there. Chat gets it. Right? Fertility rate crashing. Marriages are totally fucked. Screen time is through the roof. I'm not actually going to pull that up because we all know that screen time is through the roof. Most people's screen time is like 8 hours or more every day. I think 6 or 7, but it's crazy. Right? All of these are symptoms. The porn epidemic, silently in the background, just eating away at all of our brains, eating away at femininity and masculinity, replacing intimacy with virtual slop. We aren't having kids. We aren't making love. We aren't making friends. We aren't partying, right? Generally speaking. I don't think we really need to watch Homegirl's video to understand the title. Have you noticed that celebrities don't fucking matter anymore? Because streaming has changed the whole world because all of these kids are just watching streamers now. Right? Like, I know we're all hanging out on a stream, but like, think about the young people that literally just sit around and watch people play video games online all day. There are millions of hours of human attention just on the internet every day, watching artificial friendships happen. What's the word for it? Parasocial. The parasocial epidemic has completely changed the nature of culture and of childhood. Right? These are all symptoms. And one of the most fucked up symptoms of the whole thing is beautifully explained by CoffeeZilla in the last video of this walk that we're going to do down the nature of this problem. And unfortunately, CoffeeZilla decided to personally attack me by using copywritten music in his goddamn video that is so amazing. It's like one of the best videos on the internet today. It's going super viral and a ton of streamers are reacting to it, but I don't want to get these videos taken down because it is copywritten music. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you that you have to watch the most recent CoffeeZilla movie exposing the gambling epidemic. It is mandatory watching. It's freaking crazy. And I'm just going to play it silently in the background here. And you're going to get the picture. And he explains, like, we all know that gambling is everywhere now, right? Like sports betting, like crypto gambling, cash app gambling, micro betting, poly market, betting on whether or not, like, Donald Trump is going to eat a grilled cheese sandwich in the next 7 days or not. Will Ryan Cohen sell his underwear or not? Will Tucker Carlson say fuck on the next podcast or not? Will Israel be gay tomorrow or not? You can bet on all of these things. There's a bet you can make on all of it. And CoffeeZilla just dives deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into this literal epidemic. To segments where they like directly advertising at children inside of children's apps and children's games. All the different people are platforming gambling ads. Even homies are platforming gambling ads because there's just so much money in it. Gambling is one of the number one signs of a collapse of a civilization. Gambling, sex work, the debasement of the most base parts of society, right? Division in politics, the wealth gap exploding. And if you watch this video for no other reason, watch it to protect your own soul from this gambling epidemic. A bunch of you out there, I know right now, a bunch of you out there have a bunch of bets placed on random shit that doesn't mean anything. And you're in the red, dog. I know you're in the red, homie. I know you're in the red. Guarantee it. But this time is different. You've got a bet coming that's going to make it. You're going to hit it big, dog. You just bought all these one-day call options, and they're going to fucking hit, dude. Trust me. This time it's going to hit. But the crazy thing about the gambling epidemic today is that it's all digital. And like, how dumb are we to think that digital gambling isn't rigged against you? It's literally made up funny numbers in a computer screen that has no regulation, no oversight. How do you even know it's real? It is people's retirement plan these days. Most, like, literally, a huge portion of my generation and Gen Z know that they're never going to get ahead working a regular job. They're just going to be barely scraping by forever. And so rather than actually trying to get ahead, what do? You YOLO every single day or month, every paycheck, you YOLO whatever you've got on one random fucking crazy bet, and maybe it'll hit. This is my lottery ticket because ain't nothing else going to work, right? That is the signs of a collapsing society. That's where we're at. That's literally the state of young people today. It's like, what else are you going to do? There's no other way to get ahead. Right? And like, I'm going to be hosting a poker night with my friends in tomorrow, a couple days. You're not invited, even though you're my friends. Because I'm trying to socialize more. And because poker's fucking rad. But poker, at least we're sitting down with real physical cards with a $20 buy-in, and it's super chill. It's a game. It's entertainment. It's socializing. This is something completely different. This section right here, he's talking about how there's a bet on will Zelensky wear a suit. Millions of dollars flowing into it. Crystal would whip my ass. Maybe. I don't know. All in. So, you got to watch this video from CoffeeZilla exposing the gambling epidemic. Fucking legendary. Not only is it one of the best videos on the internet right now, but it's also one of the worst epidemics in culture and society right now. And I know a bunch of y'all are hooked. I know you guys are sports betting out there, and it's fucking destroying you. Chat. If anyone in the chat is making money online gambling, drop your lies in the chat. Tell us how much you made. All the homies use BCCI. For real, dog. For real. So I think that's enough on the problem, right? I think that's enough on the problem. You're up $700 for the year, bro. Congrats. Maybe you should throw all of that into one big YOLO, and then you'll make even more, dog. 8K wagered on stake, 0 profit. Yeah, I feel for you, dog. That is their business model. If you were going to make money on those gambling apps, they wouldn't have a business model. You're the product. And it's super illegal. The whole online gambling industry right now is just moving so fast that it can't be regulated. And it's just running away. Gambling used to be a thing that you had to like drive all the way to Las Vegas and get drunk with the mafia in order to get gambling. Now it's like in your fucking phone every day of forever. It's in your banking app in some cases. It's in your brokerage apps. It's in your video games. It's in your Roblox and shit. You made 5K on an NFT and then lost it all. Exactly, bro. And trust me, I've lost plenty of money fucking trading options too. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, Vegas is a ghost town. Because everyone's just gambling on their phones and they can't afford to go to Vegas anyways. And the inflated prices in Vegas are inflating more and more. And there is rumblings and rumors in the Vegas community about hotels not being able to pay their bills. And if you're not aware, Vegas is built on black market money. It's built on money laundering. It's built by the mob and the mafia. And so I don't know what happens when that collapses. I don't know what happens. Fartcoin can't hold Vegas up forever, bro.
That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.